have the singular privilege and honor to introduce Mr. C.K. Bruce, who will be joining and be taking us on a journey of security, data security, digital security, the future of digital Africa. Let's welcome Mr. C.K. Bruce in the next 30 seconds as he joins us. We'll be right back. You're once again welcome, and this event is brought to you by Digital Times Africa and supported by Ghana Tech Lab. I have Mr. C.K. Bruce who's joined the call. Hello, Mr. C.K. How are you? I hope you can hear me loud and clear.
Hi, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, we can hear you, but the audio is a little bit piercing. Could you help us with your audio a bit? I don't know. Can we all hear Mr. C.K.? Is it loud and clear? Is it good? If it's good,
yeah, can you hear me?
I think it's okay. We can manage this. Yeah, we can.
Fantastic.
Work.
Okay.
Perfect. Great to have you on board, Mr. C.K. Bruce. I think I'd rather let you share your profile with the audience because it's a long one. All right. So let's have you on board.
It's actually very simple. I'm just an information security professional. I also, well, basically, I do information security consulting, governance, and audit, okay, and risk, okay. But I like to see myself more as a mentor, as somebody who is trying to develop skills in our next generation up and coming professionals. And I mean, that's what I would like to be seen and known as.
Thank you so much for that. I mean, you've been a mentor on so many levels, especially to myself, because I actually studied under this amazing professional here, Mr. C.K. Bruce. Thank you so much for your encouragement, for your insight. I mean, I've learned a lot under your leadership. I look forward to learning more. I'm gonna still be in touch. You know how we do, right? Let's head directly to your keynote presentation. Let's have you talk about digital security and the future of Africa before we switch over to the panel session where Eric Mensah, Kwaku Mensah will be joining you.
Brilliant. Okay. I have some slides. I don't know whether it's going to be shown or I should just carry on.
You can carry on. The slides will be shown by all means. So we're preparing that up.
Okay. Thank you so much. So I'm going to talk about, Africa's cybersecurity, the future of Africa's cybersecurity. But we need to put it into context in terms of where we are now. We are just coming out of a very interesting, can be traumatic, very life, everything changing times, okay, which was COVID. And COVID, to me, has enabled the world to reboot, okay? It's as if we've shut everything off and we are trying to restart everything, okay? Because everything was locked down, okay? Now, the COVID times brought about a response to, necessity, okay? Everything had to be shut down, meaning that the only medium that was capable of doing things was the internet, okay? So we had to move everything into the internet, and it became quite an opportunity. And I'm glad to say it became a massive opportunity for Africa, okay? Africa, we have our unique experiences. We have difficult terrain due to those uniqueness, difficult, lack of infrastructure. We develop very, very interesting solutions. Okay, very innovative solutions. Okay, I'm also glad to say that during COVID, the governments realizing that this was happening, there was a lot of enabling regulation, enabling policies, enabling environments that was created in Ghana, where I am. There was a lot to support the fintechs, and we can now see a serious upsurge in the number of fintechs providing all different types of solutions. Okay, so all in all, COVID came. COVID was not that devastating to Africa. COVID has really presented an opportunity for us to continue leapfrogging. I mean, Africa, we've been leapfrogging for years, okay? And it's interesting that a research company, McKinsey & Company, noted something, and there's this quote which I'd like to read out. And it says, COVID-19 crisis contains the seeds of a large-scale reimagination of Africa's economic structure, service delivery systems, and social contracts. Okay, and I think that spells it all out. And that is my view and impression of the rebooting of Africa, the rebooting of Africa's innovation, the rebooting of Africa's skills, Africa's digital journey, and it has been and is going to be really amazing. Okay, a lot of people also began to use technology in a more serious way during COVID. Okay, so there was a complete upsurge in the number of people using the internet and things like that. Okay, now the fact of the matter is that the more people we have using the internet, obviously the more cybercrime will grow. Okay, because of COVID, the use of mobile money, for instance, skyrocketed. Also, alongside of it, the fraud, the scams skyrocketed. Okay, now there's the notion that cybercrime groups are not really an African thing. Okay, but no, that's not true at all. I mean, just to give some instances of African homegrown cyber groups, I think some of us might know the tension between Ethiopia and Egypt, Sudan, along the Nile. Ethiopia has built a dam which Egypt is not too happy about. Okay, now there's a cyber group based in Egypt called Cyber Horus, and they have been attacking. This was in June 2020. They launched an attack on Ethiopia. Okay, and clearly the intention, the objective of the attack was to cause economic, psychological, and political pressure on Ethiopia. Okay, those are the beginnings of cyber warfare. So this is purely African grown. Okay, between two African countries. Okay, we also know Nigeria a lot, unfortunately, about these little scams. But there's a group in Nigeria called the Silver Terrier, okay? And it's a group with containing about several hundred individuals, and they are all over the major cities in Nigeria, okay? Now, this Silver Terrier, they have been known to have created thousands, more than 50,000 pieces of malware. They have conducted more than 2 million attacks. They have caused billions of dollars of damage to individuals and to organizations, both inside and outside Africa. Again, another homegrown cyber crime group based, emanating from Africa, okay? I mean, generally, it is believed that the African business community as of 2017, we've lost an estimated 3.5 billion to cybercrime and cyber fraud and cyber theft, okay? So cybercrime, cyber fraud is seriously, I mean, we know it, but you know, these are stories, these are experiences coming from within, okay? Most of the times we think that it's coming from Asia and coming from Russia, Ukraine. No, but we have experienced, highly skilled fraudsters who are based and targeting us in Africa, okay? Now, looking at regulation, looking at the efforts by countries to ensure that, you know, we are trying to fight against these cybercrime groups and cybercrime attempts, we will realize that it's slow, okay? Only 6 countries in Africa have computer incident response teams, okay? CERTs that's from sectorial or national CERTs that can respond to cyber attacks, okay? And only 6 countries out of 54 is not good going, okay? I mean, these CERTs, these national CERTs really do a lot. I've had personal experiences with the CERTs we have in Ghana and how they responded to some attacks, and they are important to have to ensure that the nation state has capability to be able to respond, to be able to thwart, to be able to recover from all different denial of service attacks and other cyber attacks, okay? But generally, the regulatory environment is not good, okay? Only 6 countries have signed the Budapest Convention on Cybercrime, okay? Only 8 countries have signed on to the African Union Malibu Convention on Cybersecurity and Personal Data, okay? These are 2 very critical treaties that help the nation, the countries that have signed to these treaties to share information, to share vulnerability information, threat information, to have standards that can ensure the adequate level of security, and to benefit from technical assistance and cooperation from generally the international community. So, I mean, these are critical, these are very important treaties, and the commitment to these treaties, or the lack of commitment to these treaties by the vast majority of African countries, is not a good sign, is not a good sign at all, okay? And further assessments of the environment from the African Union. So there's a report, for instance, from November 2016 that says that 30 African countries lack the legal framework to be able to fight cybercrime. Okay, so this is not a very good situation for us to see, because the regulation, the legislative environment is important, is critical, in fact, to be able to address the cybercrime problem. However, there is light under the tunnel, okay? There is an African Union cybersecurity expert group which has been formed. They actually had their first meeting in December 2019. But I can say that subsequently, I am sure that because of the COVID, things have slowed down. But at least it's a massive step forward to have this cybersecurity expert group, in existence. And the membership of the group was from all the various regions in Africa come together. At least there's this beginnings, this start of a African continent wide, approach in trying to deal with this problem. Okay, and some countries are trying to do a lot. Okay, it's very interesting that in the year 2018, quite a lot happened. Kenya signed into law a Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act. Okay, same in 2018, the Central Bank of Kenya asked payment service providers to submit their cybersecurity policies to government. These were all clearly very interesting, very a good attempt to regulate. Okay, again in 2018 in November, Kenya also came out with its data protection bill. Okay, also in 2018, the Bank of Ghana issued a cybersecurity directive, and that cybersecurity directive, one of the things that it advocated or it directed was that all organizations, institutions regulated by the Bank of Ghana, i.e. the banking sector of Ghana, how to implement ISO 27001, how to implement PCI. These are key information security standards, global recognized standards, okay? And this was a huge step, in my view. That's really, started the fight back, okay? Also, in June 2018, the Central Bank of Nigeria announced guidelines for a cybersecurity framework as well. So a lot happened in 2018. Okay, in Kenya, in Ghana, in Nigeria. These are with South Africa. These are key countries that are trying to be on the forefront of putting in the right regulation and the right legislation to create the environment to be able to push information security solutions. Okay, and in fact, at the end of 2020, a new cybersecurity law was signed into an act in Ghana. Okay, so there's further development of the legislative environment, and that law is going to do a lot to bring, some direction and some focus into various initiatives that we will expect the various industries to be undertaken. Okay. Now, the most critical aspect, the most important aspect of cybersecurity or of protecting organizations against cybercrime is the skill set. Okay, cybersecurity is all about skills. Okay, yes, there are some technologies that we can, solutions that we can implement, but at the end of the day, you need the people to be able to, implement the standards, implement the solutions, monitor, ensure that the analysis of the information that the various SIMs, the various SOCs are giving is all human-based. Okay, and it is clearly the concern. There was a checkpoint survey, and it's found that 77% of the respondents were concerned about the capabilities of their various security teams. Okay, 67% were worried about the level of the cybersecurity knowledge. Okay, so clearly there is concern around that area. Okay. Again, some of the positive initiatives was that in October 2020, the African Advanced Level Telecom Institute held a chat, held a small workshop to discuss the cybersecurity skill gap in Africa. Okay, and that is an enormous, step forward. The skill gap is not really isolated, unique to Africa. It is a global problem. Okay, it is a global problem. There are clearly gaps all around globally. Other countries don't also have enough cybersecurity skills to be able to man and to fulfill some of the requirements that they have. So we can imagine that in Africa, it will be worse. Okay, if it's a global issue, it will be worse. Okay, so one of the key areas that we need to look at to be able to really address the future of cybersecurity in Africa is to ensure that we have various initiatives. Is to ensure that academia, is developing the right courses, the right programs that would equip our young people to have the right skills. We need to look at the various information security certifications to ensure that those specific skills are being developed. Okay, we need to ensure that African countries are coming up with the right regulation, the right enabling environment that would encourage, companies all over to be able to mentor, to be able to afford opportunities to young people to try and develop these skills, to actually develop their interests. Okay, it is important that our young people see information security, cybersecurity as a career path. Okay, the various areas in cybersecurity, risk, audit, the legal side. Okay, the hard, the soft. They need to see it as a clear career path that they want to pursue. We need to ensure that all the building blocks are available. The academic institutions, the private training centers have the right training facilities to be able to move them to the next level. And I would like to conclude on that point, okay, that we need to develop the skills, period. Okay, we need to ensure that more and more young people move into information security as a career path. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Mr. C.K. Bruce. We are joined live. With Mr. Eric Kwaku Mensah. I hope I got the name right. I didn't murder it, right? Can you hear me, Mr. Eric? I think you're muted.
Yes, I can hear.
Perfect.
Yes, I can hear you.
Welcome you. Those are insightful contributions and data being shared by Mr. C.K. Bruce, right? And thank you so much, Mr. C.K. Bruce, for that keynote address. I was so overwhelmed when I saw those data coming out, right? I didn't know that things of that nature happening around cybersecurity space in Africa, right? But these are all issues that need addressing. And Mr. Eric, I know you work with Crime Bureau, and we have seen the rise of mobile money frauds and all of those, and seeing that MTN, Shell in Ghana, is trying to incorporate some security measures that uses ID card and all of this. My question is, having witnessed this data or this presentation and what Mr. Gibbons has shared, and what are some of the go-to steps that businesses can use to protect themselves against such cyber attacks? Because we are at the rise of digitalization, and every service is becoming digital. So people, even the redundant, let me not use the word redundant, like new businesses who are now utilizing digital spaces, right? They need to know what to do to protect themselves against some of these issues. So, what are your recommendations? What can you share with us?
Okay, thank you very much, Richard. And I'm so excited to be part of this panel, especially with Mr. C.K. Bruce. And I want to say that it's very important that we take cybersecurity serious. Like you saw in his presentation, we are very open as a continent. And when you drill down to businesses, oftentimes we look at the convenience, like the previous panel did mention. We don't take security serious when it comes to development of, web application, mobile applications, and the infrastructure. And it is really key. That is the basic thing to do first. That when you are building an IT infrastructure, you put into consideration the security of that infrastructure. So that is the key baseline. Then after that, you look at some of these international compliance protocols like ISO 27001. There are other ones for the payment industry like the PCI DSS protocols and the rest. So these are very key things that institutions would have to take note of. You saw in the statistics presented by Mr. C.K. Bruce about some of the hacks and some of the state-sponsored activities. This is real, and it does happen in this country and on the continent. Sometimes when you say these things, people think that, it is in the outside world, in the Europe, in the US, and the rest. No, these things do happen in this country and even in other African countries. So it is really, really important that businesses take cybersecurity so serious that when they are building the architecture of their IT assets, they put in protocols and some measures to be able to prevent or mitigate any attack that might target them.
Thank you so much for your contribution, Mr. Eric Mensah. I hope we all can hear me. There are quite a lot of insightful stuff happening in the comment section. Not to break the conversation, let's just go right into it. I'm going to touch on the comment section later. Mr. CK, you talked about bridging the skill gap, right? Making people find interest in digital security as a career, right? I mean, the word digital security alone is complicated. You have to think about all the building blocks around security, the coding, all of those. What are the easy things to do to be able to make people adept with this? And how can we build an ecosystem within Africa that upscale skills within cybersecurity and bridge that gap?
It's not difficult. Seriously, it's not difficult. It's just a matter of perspective. Okay. Now, we have very talented young people who are system administrators, who are developers, who are, are demonstrating so many skills in the other aspects of information technology. It is just that we need to have them think about security. Okay, so we have a lot of people who are attracted to the development side of IT, and they are demonstrating such talent. Okay, lots of them, because there are so many opportunities there. Okay, that's why they are being drawn to development and to system administration. So similarly, we need to just give them that perspective. The skills, they will learn, they will develop it, but it is just that we need more people to have that focus, okay? In terms of developing the skills, we have various areas of information security. We have the hard, network security, the vulnerability assessment, penetration testing. We have the risks, we have the GRC, the management. So these are all various areas which, are skills that we just have to learn, that we can learn. Sorry. Okay, it's not learnable. It is not rocket science. Okay, so from my thinking, from my perspective, it is just a matter of opening up the opportunities. So in Ghana, for instance, it is becoming possible to get a well-paid job in information security. Okay, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, that was not the case. Okay, but now, because of regulation, a lot of the whole banking industry is looking for these skills. Okay, and that is good. So we need to see more industry regulation in the insurance industry, manufacturing, the health. All these industries must have the regulation to ensure that the demand for these skills grows, thereby creating the want for people to follow that career path.
Richard, I just want to add something to CK Bruce's submission.
Feel free, come on, go ahead.
Great. So just to add up, it's very important that we, as a continent, take cognizance of the educational reforms. Right now, everything is going digital. We have to look at, incorporating cybersecurity or information security into our educational curricula, even right from the basic level, so that by the time the child grows, the child has been able to develop that desire to move into cybersecurity or information security. So it is really key. I just thought of adding this so that governments and those who are in charge are able to brainstorm around this. I know around 2017 there was a conversation like that in Ghana here there would be some other discussions in relation to incorporating some of this security or cyber security related courses from the basic level.
Thank you so much, Eric, for adding that up. That's you just drew my attention to something, and it's something I'm going to touch on right about now. We have got a couple of comments, and fortunately for us, we'll be talking about education on the next panel, right? And we'll be looking at talking about education, talking about bringing or adapting to the educational reforms as a country, or as Pan-Africans. But then again, we don't see the use of digital tools and services in school, right? That has been the major issue with onboarding education institutions or young adults onto using digital tools and services, right? Because you see the case where you're done with senior secondary school and then you're in the university. That's the first time you're now knowing how to operate a laptop or use a laptop. I mean, these are all the issues we are having. And until we allow the use of digital or PDAs in schools and stuff, we might not see these people being onboarded to maybe wanting to join that bandwagon of upscaling themselves in digital security, because it's not a fast until they are out of school and it becomes challenging because they are uneducated about it. So, Mr. CK, talking about education, what do you want to see change around educational systems, especially with digital security?
You're very right. You're very, very right. Okay. As I said, COVID came with the upsurge in the use of the Internet of Information Technology. I stand to be corrected, but I have the feeling, I mean, I wouldn't want to be categorical, but the service providers, the telecom companies, I don't feel that they've upgraded their networks to provide better quality service, internet across board for everybody to use. Okay, I mean, I'm very sorry to say that, but I feel that it's the same network that they had pre-COVID that they're trying to maximize. Okay, so we need, those are some of the regulatory legislative areas to ensure that the right quality of service exists. Okay, the use of internet has skyrocketed. It means that we need more bandwidth. It means that we need more faster connectivity. It also means that the cost of internet should drop because there are more people using it. Okay, economies of scale. Okay, these should now be reflecting so that it will be easier for primary schools, for government schools to be able to use the internet. Okay, I must say that I witnessed some very innovative teachers on an individual level during COVID. Okay, so clearly, I mean, these are some of the times that I'm very proud to be an African because we have such tough terrains, okay, lack of infrastructure, but it doesn't stop some very good people to do what they have to do. And some teachers went on using phones, using WhatsApp groups, using so many easily available avenues to continue teaching. Okay, and I really wish some of them could be identified and awarded. Okay, but suffice to say that our infrastructure should be improved. Okay, so that as Eric said, that the riding on the virtual opportunities to train, opportunity to learn must be harnessed and must be.
Thank you, Mr. CK Bruce. That's a good contribution. We really appreciate your input. Before we go on, let's just see what's happening in the comment section and let's see what people are saying. Mr. Victor Malloy says, welcome, Mr. CK Bruce. And he continues to say, CK Bruce, the cyber ambassador of Ghana. Wow, we didn't know. Oh, all the way from Texas. That's great. And it continues, I'm here to enable and support from San Antonio, Texas, USA. Please let me know how I may better serve you. Oh, Mr. Victor, we would love to really grow with you. That I'm sure the organizing team will be in touch and we can figure out something around these areas. Fantastic comment from the ambassador of Ghana, aka Mr. CK Bruce. Hey, Mr. CK Bruce, he's taking all the fans though. All right. It says something which is very exciting and focus on youth development that will spark and that focus for youth development, the spark that will ignite the change on the continent, right? Yeah. The future of digital Africa is here and the youths are on the forefront, right? We have to prioritize this youthful population and have them engage in services, tools, educative stuff, materials or resources that is actually going to change the narrative on digital Africa, right? Let's have your reaction, Mr. Eric Mensah. And I'm so very glad because the next panel discussion is going to delve into education. I think it's well arranged and we're going to look at this. Mr. Eric.
Yeah, so yes, so good. So in terms of the focus on the youth, in terms of digital security on the continent, I must say that a lot of statistics have come out in terms of the growth of the jobs that will be available when it comes to when we talk about cybersecurity, and the youth would have to take that opportunity, seize the opportunity. In fact, most regulatory institutions are now putting in demands like we have in Ghana here, where organizations will have to have CISOs. There are cybersecurity roles that have been, demanded by the regulatory institutions for the banks and other companies. It is really, really important. And in fact, when you look at some of the regulations, it makes provision for jobs and positions for cybersecurity roles. And it's very important that we, the youth of this continent, leverage on that, develop applications and tools to be able to solve cybersecurity and other digital crimes related issues. Right now, there's an emergence of the AI, machine learning, and the rest. We would have to leverage on such protocols to be able to, provide solutions for the continent. It's quite sad that sometimes some of the things that we we use, even as countries within this, within Africa, we use tools from the outside world to protect ourselves. We use tools from the outside world to protect ourselves. Then, we are actually open. So we would have to get to a level where we develop homegrown tools for ourselves as Africans, so that we can be able to, fight and then mitigate attacks that are tailored to us as Africans.
Thank you very much. You mentioned something which is very interesting: development of homegrown tools to fight or deal with issues and challenges around Africa. Which organization? I mean, I don't think these are things. We saw China, right, come to us or Africa to help us redevelop Gary implementation, or how to finish Gary, right? So what are we doing as Africans? I mean, dynamic spaces, the hubs, the networks, Innovare. I mean, Ikram, I mean, you mentioned a lot. What are we doing to make sure that we are building these homegrown tools ourselves, so we don't leverage on partnership or sponsorship from international organizations? Because then again, we depend so much on funding in Africa, and that's a challenge, right? So how can we limit? Because Mr. CK mentioned that telecom industries or telecom organizations, the cost of internet is high and all of those, right? It all depends around the services. If the people providing us with these services within the country are skyrocketing their prices, right? So how do we then leverage on what we have to develop something? We look outside to the to donors, right? So what are your advice, or what can you say? What are we doing within the space, cybersecurity space, to help us, right, develop crafts, policies, whatever, I mean, tools that fit the African ecosystem, developed by Africans for Africa?
Okay. You see,
no, Eric, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay,
Mr. CK, you go ahead, please.
Okay. No, I mean, policies, regulation, industry can only come from government. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the only thing that we can do is, as civil society, is to advocate, is to pressure, is to lobby that these things should be done. Okay. In Ghana, I'm happy to see that there's a clear direction set. Okay, it started with the Cybersecurity Act. That's the Cybersecurity Act, mandated the formation of the Cybersecurity Authority. Okay, so there are things happening. Okay, it might be slow, but there's clearly the right steps are being taken towards the overall objective of creating these enabling environments. But on saying that, I think that we need to have more private sector initiatives. Okay, like, I mean, for instance, Innovare, for instance, I mentioned that. I like to be known as mentoring, and that's something that we are doing. Okay, so our team is quite young, very young, and the whole plan is to ensure that they get the experience from the projects that we have. They are being, trained. They are, and to be honest, the team that we have, they're doing amazing things for young people who are just 2 years from graduation. Okay, there's, as long as they have the right guidance, the right mentorship, the right support, instilling the right level of confidence for them to be able to, and then the projects which they can work on to be able to gain that experience. See, so we need more of those organizations to be able to drive that direction. I must say, where we have Innovare, where we have our office, we are located at the Accra Digital Center, okay? And that is a hub that is also, promulgating that direction. So the whole idea of Accra Digital Center is to enable the development of these skills. So we have a very good enabling environment here that enables us to be able to bring in young people and develop them these opportunities. We need to have more of these hubs. Okay, we need to have more of these hubs all over the country, which then will enable the right companies, the right private sector companies, to be able to support these young people to, to grow.
Thank you, Mr. Eric. Before you make a contribution there, I don't know if you can hear me loud and clear. We have a couple of comments on Facebook and YouTube. We would like to see. Someone is asking, right, from Facebook, Betty Bua, whilst we wait to inculcate these ideas in the curriculum, what can we do immediately? And Mr. Victor Malloy is also saying, are you providing internship for college university students with government, industry, and academia? Like, I'd like you guys to address this as we wrap up on this session. Thank you very much. So who would like to go first, Mr. CK, or you like to let Mr. Eric?
Yeah, Eric. Yeah, Eric should go first.
All right, Eric.
Thank you. So whilst we wait for this to be incorporated into our educational curricula, we as private institutions and even some NGOs like other organizations like the Ghana Tech Lab and then Accra Digital Center and co, they'll have to put in programs that will bring these young ones together. That will bring these young ones together to be able to, express their skills. In fact, there are some programs that have been organized. I remember there was an event in Rwanda where young lads within the primary level were brought together to do coding. They teach them how to do coding and the rest. So those are some of the things that should be put in place now, whilst we await, a broader legislation or regulation in relation to academic reforms and the rest. And then also private institutions like the E-Crime Bureau, okay, or Innovare and other cybersecurity institutions should give opportunities to those who have done cybersecurity and other related courses to come and do internships, because that is where they will get the hands-on. Because one thing we know is that our schools oftentimes do theoretical stuff, but it is very important that the hands-on stuff is felt by this young people that are coming up into the cybersecurity space. So it's important that we, the private ones, give opportunities to the these graduates to come and do the hands-on internships with them.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Eric. Any comment from you? Any final words from you, Mr. CK, for wrap up? I mean, there's something Victor Malo is also saying. Are you providing instruction to teachers in the area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The answer to both questions: do we provide internship? Yes. Yes. And yes. The teachers? Yes. The answer is yes. We are only constrained by space. Okay. Space as in having more sitting space for people to come and sit and go through internship. That is our only constraint. Okay. Otherwise, interning, mentoring young people, is my passion at the moment. And because I know that there's a lot that we need to do there. So it's something that I really am driving as much as possible within the capabilities that I have.
Thank you so much. That's all time will allow on this panel session. I'm so privileged to have hosted Mr. CK Bruce and Mr. Eric Mensah. CK is of Innovare Ghana and Eric Mensah is of E-Crime Bureau. I think Innovare Ghana is located at Accra Digital Center, which is an entrepreneurship, innovation, technology hub here in the heart of Ghana, Accra. And could you kindly share your location with us, Mr. Eric? Do you also provide internships? Do you provide?
Yes, we do. We do provide internships and even national service and the rest. We are located at Adenta, around Medina. If those in Ghana, in Accra, We are located around Adenta. You can get us. You can visit our website.
Great.
And then you see more content from us.
Very well. One quick one, right? We are in the front of digitalization, right? Are these services provided online or it has to do in person? Because I remember Mr. CK mentioned the only challenge is the space, right? Are we exponentially looking at inculcating these using digital services so we can build that network? Because space is constrained because we have people joining the call all the way from Texas, we have those in Nigeria, those in other part of Africa, right? How are we leveraging on digital tools and services to expand our narratives?
Well, at the moment, I mean, Innovare is also a training institution. So, I mean, we offer training in numerous cybersecurity certifications, a lot of certifications. Currently, we've moved all our training to virtual, okay? That really offers us more opportunities because it is easier for us to include some people pro bono, okay? Whilst we were having physical classes, as you were saying, we are constrained by space. We are no longer constrained by those, from the training that's, so for each training session that we do, we have a quota that we offer free to certain people that we want to give opportunities to. But that is only the training perspective. You see, the hands-on, the actual working on projects, for the person to really benefit from the mentorship, it is a little bit more complicated from that perspective. So it is something that we're looking at to see how best we can still achieve our objectives through some of these new channels that exist.
All right, thank you, Mr. CK Bruce. Eric, thank you so much for availing yourself to be with us, even with your tight constraints with time, right? We really appreciate and we are deeply honored to have hosted you. Thank you. This all time will allow us in the
Thank you so much.
session.
Thank you so much.
Blessings, sir.